welcome back to the TorontoWebsiteDeveloper.com. I am Pete Orski, the Toronto Website Developer specializing in Drupal. And in this video's tutorial, I'm going to walk you through a custom module that I created, which allows you to create multi-access node reviews, but they actually are embedded on the node that you are reviewing. There are other modules out there that will allow you to do this, except the difference between my module and those modules is that you don't have to go to a separate node to create this review. The node review module, for example, that's available for Drupal 6, will allow you to do all this, except when you go to create a review, you have to go to a separate node and then come back to the node that you're reviewing. It's a little bit cumbersome for your users if you want to create the best user experience. So you'll see here my module. When you go to pricing, let's add quality, let's add satisfaction, we're going to recommend it, and we'll say great product. So as you can see, this is a good example for Uber Cart. It allows you to actually create some reviews specifically on the product page, upsell other products, get some testimonials, and drive your sales up. So you'll see here, actual review. This is my review if I want to edit it, and you'll see down here an actual list of the reviews. It is possible to aggregate this. I just didn't do it for my module. So that's it. Let's jump right into the code. Like I said, I'm just sharing the code, just going to walk you through how I did this. If you want a video tutorial on how to actually create this and walk you through the process that I took, let me know, leave a comment, and I will gladly make that tutorial. Otherwise, I've been finding that kind of the more useful tutorials for people are ones that just show you how to do something, get it in, get it out. So that's what we're going to do here. First thing, I've got my info file. This is the reason why I'm showing you this, because you have to have two dependencies for this module if you're going to use the one that I share. 5-star and voting API, we use them both heavily in the module. Next thing, just quickly, hook perm. I created 4 permissions if you want to use them. Only 2 are actually used in the module right now. Second thing to note is that we have actual configuration page, so this is where you'll define which content type this module will apply to, and that's defined in a separate file. Where you'll see we actually define the form here and pass it back into the hook menu. A lot of the magic happens in hook review node API. So just quickly walking through it. First things first, actually it's right here. If we're not looking at the page, we're not going to show the reviews. And if this isn't a certain content type that was to be reviewed, we're going to get right out of here. We're not going to edit any of the node API. But if we pass those tests, we're going to go ahead and we're going to query the database to get existing reviews, and we're going to list them in the body content. So that's what you're seeing down here. We've queried, we found that there are 2 reviews, we're including them. The one thing this module doesn't do is it does not create a pager for your reviews. So if you have a hugely popular site and you get 1,000 reviews and you use this module, 1,000 reviews are going to be queried and shown. So you'll want to change that up yourself. We'll just jump down. I'll show you the actual function that'll do this. The only thing we pass in is the node ID because we do use that in the database. So just jumping down, it calls this function, and this function queries the database twice. First, we're going to the node reviews table, and we're going to get the recommendation, comments, user ID, and the created date. And then we're going to query again from voting API vote, and we're going to pull in all the votes that we get. We return that back up, and we pass it through to a custom theme function. So the theme is going to be node review. So again, sorry to keep jumping around. When we come down here, you'll see node review theme. We actually call a specific template. The template's a little bit ugly, but I've included it for you. There's a lot of different divs and classes in here that we can go ahead and use to use some magic CSS. I didn't do that. I just created it straight ugly for you, and you can play with it. You'll see here, like this is a second one, kind of get into it, and it just looks like it folds right into it. So anyways, it's ugly, but you play with it, have fun. And as always, you can override this because we went through the theme system. That said, I'll show you where the real magic happens now. What we're going to do here, before we actually get into creating the form where people can input, we check to make sure that they have access to submit reviews. If they do, we're going to go ahead and query to see if they have an existing review. So that's what this does, create some default values, and we do that before creating the form so that when the form's created, the default values will be there if someone's already created a review. So you'll see here, I've already created a review, my existing votes are shown rather than just being blank. Now if we go down, node review entry form, that's the specific function that we call when we go to create our form in the node view API. And you'll see here, the one thing to note, we're creating a form and the type is 5-star. you can go to api.drupal.org and you can look at the different attributes of the Forms API. But 5-star is specific to the 5-star module, so you might want to check out api.lullabot.org or .com because they have documentation for all contributed modules. Well, not all, but a lot of the contributed modules, the popular ones. So you can figure out what this actually means here. The default value, this is what I was telling you about before. So we're telling Drupal, if we've set default value that we're passing in, use it. Otherwise, just put 3 stars in as a medium. So those are the three axes that we have. Again, the thing to note is that pricing, quality, and satisfaction are all hard-coded. If you want to change those, you have to change those in here and the install file, which I'll open up and I'll show you after. To specifically, or I'm sorry, you don't have to modify the install file, but you will have to change those here, as well as when we get down to calling voting API. Again, we have a recommendation in the comments. That's actually contained in our node table, which we create in the install file. You can get rid of them if you want to, you don't have to. And lastly, the thing to note, we have a submit button here. So without the submit button, none of these values get saved to the database. So again, we're going to pop down to a new function for submit, and we're going to create some just easy to use variable names, calling on the variable values from form state. Then what we do is we delete all the values that we have in the database or for the specific user and the specific node ID, because we have them all temporarily right here. We then add them back in. And like I said, we're going to call on the voting API to set votes. So this is where if you had changed up your different accesses that you're using, make sure that they're reflected here as well. You pass this information into voting API set votes, and it will actually update the voting API tables. So you don't have to create those, you don't have to play with them or anything. Last thing, we just set a message that just says the review's been saved. Quickly, I'll run you through to the install file. It's very simple, very basic. We call our hook install, hook uninstall, and hook schema, and then we only define really 2 new fields, being recommendations and comments. The other ones are pretty simple to use: the NID, the UID, and the created. You can pull those out of an existing module if you're not sure about them or you want some more info on them. But that's it. That's the module. Again, if you want me to show you how I actually went through and created this and explain what the module does, leave a comment. I'll do that tutorial gladly. It'll probably be about 20 to 30 minutes long at minimum, I would think. The other thing is, if you're looking for information on how to create an aggregate score, one of your good resources here is going to be the actual documentation for 5-star. There's a multi-axis review system using 5-star with nodes implementation for Drupal 6 tutorial, and what this will do is you'll see Quick Sketch Nate has gone through and provided you with the code on how to do that. That's actually what the TPL file that I have is based upon. And actually, you know what? That won't do that for you. I apologize. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to use views, and I think that right here, yeah, step 4 is what you're going to want to do. Using views will allow you to actually pull the aggregate voting, so that's a good thing about using voting API. Sorry about the confusion. It's views that you want to do that if you want to create an aggregate view. Anyways, I hope that helps. Leave a comment, let me know. Should have a couple tutorials coming out in the next few months. Things are getting busy, so I don't know when they'll be coming out, but I do have them on the agenda. Thanks very much for all the support, and take care.